Skull Rock. I think it's all in the stream description. This is Skull Rock, man. Hardcore. Classic era hardcore. Hardcore self-found. Race locked. Pretty sure that's in the stream description. If not, I'll add it. No, it's there. Server, yeah, it's there. No one ever reads stream descriptions. Yeah, there's a lot of additions. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, they did. They're always doing something. But the key is just to have fun. The key is to have fun. You know, try to rally around some sort of an event. But yeah, this is just classic era. I mean, this is a community-driven thing, right? I mean, if you think it's Blizzard slop, I mean, you don't have to watch the stream if you don't like it. Feel free to leave. The door is always open. You're gonna hold off loss Classic Plus. Now that's gonna be some slop. Well, Classic Plus though, if they create something, how you doing, Lost? If they create something that's similar to Turtle WoW, and how they do just adding new zones, adding new quests, adding some new dungeons, that type of thing. Maybe add a couple new races, which I think would be a great idea to add a couple new playable races to Classic Plus. I think that's a fantastic idea. In fact, I think that's one of the driving forces that could push Classic Plus to be around for a long time. You add, so the expansions would just be, we're gonna maybe we'll add a new playable race, but don't do it very often. Maybe do it like once every couple years. You throw in like a playable race. You know what I mean? Classic Plus was Turtle. No one cares. Actually, that's not true, to be honest. I mean, there's a lot of people like me who I liked Turtle WoW. But Turtle WoW kind of screwed up in how brazen they were with their numbers and how egregious they were with monetization, and then basically kind of shoving it in Blizzard's face on X. They kind of screwed themselves a little bit. But that's not true. There's a lot of people that care about Classic Plus. In fact, there's probably millions of people that care about Classic Plus. The problem with Blizzard is and anybody with half a brain knows the real issue. The real issue is monetization, boosting, gold selling, gold buying. That's always been their issue over the past 6 years probably. Since 2020, I'd say since 2020, maybe 2021. Every time Blizzard's come out with any kind of a classic server, it's just been rife with bots and gold sellers and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. Classic Plus will come out, and I think what would be really cool, Lost. So one of the things that they could, I just put him in timeout, Lost. I was sick of listening to him. He won't be able to post for 24 hours. But I think what would be really cool is if with Classic Plus, one of the things that they could do, and I think even Cargos did a video, talking about it, but it was kind of funny because anybody who's watched my streams for any length of time probably already knows my opinions on it, but I'm kind of rambling here because I just woke up. The point I'm trying to get at is the biggest issue with any kind of classic server is, gold selling, gold buying, boosting, GDKP, all that stuff is really a bane, in my opinion, in my personal opinion. It's a bane on the game. It makes the game worse. It hurts the game. It destroys the economy. So what I would love to see for Classic Plus is I would love to see them create Classic Plus servers where they are 100% self-found. It's a self-found server. Basically, Classic Plus but self-found, meaning you can't. But I would put some stipulations on it. Because self-found typically is you can't trade with other players, you can't use the auction house, and there's a limit to how many times, dungeons are locked. Dungeons are locked. You can't just spam dungeons over and over again. You know what I mean? So I would do it a little bit differently. What I would like to see is a kind of a version of WoW where there is no auction house. I would like to get rid of the auction house, and I would like to have it be that you could only trade with people in your guild. So if someone wasn't in your guild, you couldn't trade with them. And then I would also like to limit maybe I don't know. You're never. If the way I want to do it is, you still wouldn't prevent bots, because if you can trade with a player, then there's going to be gold sellers, because gold sellers are going to try to farm gold and trade with you. But what I would do is I would say you can't trade. You can't trade gold. That would be one thing. You can't trade gold. You know what I mean? I think I think with the profession thing, I would probably go the way of some other games, even like an Ashes of Creation, where, and again, there's so many different ways you could do it. There's so many different variations. It's really hard to nail down one variation that's going to work best. Of course, it's never gonna, it's all down to each person's opinion, obviously. But I don't think, to me, what I would do, Lost, is I would say three professions. I think what would be a really good thing to do, which is not all professions. I mean, for self-found too. The other thing for self-found is the problem with self-found right now on this server is the problem with self-found on this server is that you see three. I think three professions would probably solve the issue. But the problem with self-found is a lot of times you're locking yourself out of certain things. Like let's say you want to be an enchanter, right? If you're an enchanter on self-found, you can't make the rods you need to enchant because you can't get the rod because the rod comes from blacksmithing. So, and there's other instances of that. Like if you want to be a leather worker, for example, there might be certain things for leatherworking that require blacksmithing. Maybe belt buckles, for example, or something, right? So I think the easiest way to solve it would be three professions. So just say on a self-found server, you're allowed three professions. If you want to be enchanter, no problem. You're just a blacksmith, enchanter, tailor, right? Problem solved. So I think that's what I would do. If they gave me all professions, I would 100% do all professions because I'm kind of anal that way. But yeah, I agree with you there. You're probably right. But I think three professions would solve the thing. And I don't think having everybody with every profession is the problem with everybody having every profession is now you've gone back to one of the things that makes self-found interesting. And that's that you're not going to be maxed out with all the buffs and all this. You can't have everything. Like hardcore, I think, and self-found. One of the things that makes it cool is it creates choices. Your choices matter more because you can't do everything. I can't have like if not an enchanter, for example, I can't have gear with enchants on it. If I'm not a, a tribal leather worker, I can't have like the the leather set that everybody wants with hit rating and crit. What's it called? I can't remember off the top of my brain. I'm just woke up. My brain's not working right now. What's it called? The one where you have to go kill you have to get the leather. Oh my god, my brain's not working. Oh my god. Oh my god, my brain is so not working right now. Tribal leather working recipes. Devil Sword. Oh my god, I can't remember that. Devil Sword. So you wouldn't be able to have like let's say the Devil Sword leggings, Devil Sword gauntlets. If you wanted those, and you weren't like a tribal leather worker, well, you couldn't have them. So you might not have alchemy. So you're gonna be missing out on certain pots. You might not have mongoose potion. I mean, so if you gave everybody every profession, then they could have they could have all those things. And I think I don't like that, to be honest. I don't like that. I think one of the cool things about self-found and hardcore is making characters not as strong. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna have all the buffs. You're not gonna have everything you need. You're not gonna be able to min max. You have to make choices. One of the problems with gamers and especially in MMOs is they try so hard to min max and get every advantage they can, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in a way, it creates this environment where everybody ends up with the same stuff. Everybody's got the same shit because they're all like min maxing. One of the things that's really interesting on this server is that if you go to the Discord, you'll see there's a hero class rules. And so people are constantly coming up with ideas for different types of characters, different types of ways to play classes. And these are all around self-imposed limitations, right? Like here, Batman class, basically you can pick any race. The class has to be rogue preferably or warrior. And weapon, you have to be unarmed or use fist weapons. So this is just like a self-imposed challenge. And there's a lot of these. People are posting all kinds of like savage hunter challenge, just. And the thing that's interesting about those challenges is you're not min-maxing. You're not creating something that's a powerful class. You're actually, in a way, you're creating ways to play the game that makes your character weaker. You know what I mean? Yeah, like the Wolverine Warrior. Like my character is incredibly weak because of my self-imposed limitations. People are like, well, "Why do you do that?" I'm like, "Well, it just makes the game more interesting. It makes it more difficult. It makes leveling more challenging, right?" So in the end, anything that's more challenging, I've said this so many times, but the more difficult the challenge, the more gratification and sense of accomplishment and thus enjoyment and sense of self pride you're going to receive when that challenge has been overcome, right? That's just the way it works. Like, I played Elder Scrolls Online on and off for years. I kept trying to play Elder Scrolls Online. I never liked it. I never enjoyed it. I couldn't figure it out until recently. Recently, I was thinking about Elder Scrolls Online. I'm like, why don't I like this game? And what I realized is that one of my favorite parts of MMOs, actually my favorite part of MMOs, is exploration and leveling. The journey of leveling the character, growing the character in strength over time by doing things. I mean, that's my favorite part of MMOs. And just exploration. I love, exploring the worlds and finding things. And what I also liked about exploration and journey and all that is I like it to be challenging. I like there to be risk. I like it to be dangerous. Like if I wander to some area I've never been before and there's super high level mobs that just kill me really quickly, I like that. That's great. I like there to be risk. There's a risk of like going down into a dungeon you've never been in before. There's an inherent risk. And Elder Scrolls Online, when you level in that, there's no risk. It's like the leveling is so face roll. Like it's not dangerous. There's nothing hard about leveling an ESO. In fact, it's hard to even die. Like if I attack like a bunch of mobs, and I just stand there and do nothing. It takes a while for them to even kill me. So it's just that's I realized that's what I disliked about Elder Scrolls Online. But so what's interesting about this server, the hardcore server, Self-Found, is people do all these self-imposed challenges to make the game harder. And to me, that's always been Blizzard's number one problem. Blizzard's number one problem with expansions is they kept making not necessarily the content easier, but they kept making the leveling easier. Like leveling from 0 to whatever the max level was kept getting easier every expansion. And what they didn't realize is the leveling, the journey, is probably the most enjoyable and most important part of any MMO. And Blizzard completely overlooked that. And that's why people play this. That's why people are playing Classic WoW, not Retail WoW. You know, I think they will add a new class. Oh, a new class. I do not think they will add one initially. No, I don't think they'll add a new class initially. If Classic Plus becomes very successful, which I think it probably will be, because there's just a lot of people that haven't played the game the people who played the game as long as I have since the game was launched in 2004. I think a lot of them have a kind of a different view of how the game can be played. Maybe I don't know. It's hard to explain. But yeah, get back to your question. I'm gonna get on a total tangent to going down that path. But I think that no, they won't add a class initially. I do think they will add races. I do think that Classic Plus. I think there's about a 50-50 chance. I'm going to give it like a 50-50 chance that when they release Classic Plus, that there will be a new playable race on the Horde and a new playable race on the Alliance. I'm going to give that about a 50-50 shot. And I think one of the cool things about Classic Plus is since you don't increase the character level, to add content to the game, you add stuff. You're just adding stuff. And but what I mean by adding stuff is you're adding new quests. You're adding new dungeons. Maybe you're adding some new areas in the game that previously were pretty empty and didn't have anything in them, and maybe you're adding stuff to them. You're adding like maybe some stories, some lore, maybe some dungeons. But then on top of that is the other things you can add to the games. You can add new playable races. But if you're going to add races, you have to add lore around those races. There has to be a story about, you can't just throw on a race and not give it any kind of a background. So it's got to have a starting zone. I think playable race should have its own custom starting zone. And I think playable race should have its own story, background story. And I think it should be pretty in depth. So that's, again, just my own personal thoughts. I'd be very careful about adding new classes to Classic Plus because then you immediately start getting away, I think, a little bit from what Classic Plus kind of is, which I think not. I think you start to get away from the identity of what Vanilla WoW is, because you start adding different classes. It can easily change the balance of classes. People like the classes the way they are. People like the strengths and weaknesses of the classes. Classic Plus should incorporate some of the changes that were done in Burning Crusade to fix some of the major issues. Like Paladin should 100%, in my personal opinion, in Classic Plus be given a taunt, for example. That's just a no-brainer. Why would you not want Paladin to have a taunt? That makes no sense. So certain things that were fixed in Burning Crusade expansion, just as far as kind of fixing glaring flaws in specific classes, I think should be added to Classic Plus. But I don't think that adding new classes is something I would entertain right away. I would think if Classic Plus was successful, I would like to see it run for maybe three years before they even considered putting in a new class. And if it's been around after like maybe 3 or 4 years, if the Classic Plus is out around that long and it's successful for that long, then I would consider, we've been around for 3 or 4 years, maybe we should add like a new class. But I think what's more interesting than adding new classes, which I don't really think that new classes is where you should go. I think you should be thinking on new races because you don't need to add a new class to make the game really interesting. If you add in like a fairy race that's got like a glide ability so they can jump off cliffs and glide, like in fairy, I think that would be great. I mean, I think fairies would be such a cool race. And in fact, that would be my number one race to pick. If I was going to add a new race to Classic Plus, I'd put fairies in. Fairies were in EverQuest 2, and I just think they're a cool race because there's all kinds of lore that you can put around them. You can give them all kinds of cool little like racials. Obviously one of the racials would be that they can glide, which I think is awesome. So you think of like the dragon stupid race wherever they had retail. What's going on? Where's the elite? Oh, there's the elite camp to my right. Anyways, so yeah, I think just adding maybe some new races is a little bit better option than going with like new classes. I mean, Classic Plus gives you a good blueprint, you know. Yeah, Classic Plus gives you a nice blueprint for what will work in a class. I mean, Turtle WoW. Sorry, Turtle WoW gives you a blueprint for what would work in Classic Plus. I mean, Turtle WoW did a good job of adding wood high elves. They added high elves, and what was cool about the high elves is they added tons of lore and tons of quests around the high elves. They made the high elves really an interesting race to play, and that's kind of what I'm talking about. If you're going to add a race, make sure you have like its own starting zone. Make sure you have a story, a background story, why they exist, where they came from, how they interact. Man, that was easy. We got the quest item like right away. How they interact. I think I'm done with the quest actually. That was the final piece. We can go turn in our fishing quest and start working our way towards level 300 fishing. Yeah, I think for Classic Plus, what really is it easy? There's so many easy wins for Classic Plus, and to me, they all revolve around fixing the shortcomings of vanilla. And some of the biggest shortcomings in vanilla is the crafting. The crafting is really when you think of all the MMOs. Where is this? Oh, he's right there. When you think of all the MMOs, human tracking, that and all the crafting systems, different MMOs. WoW's crafting system is very basic. It's not super in depth. If you think about like recipes, there aren't a lot of recipes. I mean, you can't even craft a bow in World of Warcraft, which is ridiculous in my opinion. Um, like if you're like leveling up from 1 to 20 and you're a leather worker, there's very little leather items you can craft. If I go into leatherworking and I look at slots like let's say waste, um, this is it. I mean, I'm leatherworking 267, and I can only make 6 belts or something, which is hardly any. I mean, I think you should be able to make like at least like 2 to 3 individual slot based leather items every like at least every 3 levels. So like by level, by like let's say you can't do your professions until level 10, which I think is a fine restriction. Let's say at level 13, I should be able to craft like 3 different belts by level 13. By level 16, I would like to see that I could craft 6 different belts. I want to see a lot more craftable items, and I want to see a lot more craftable sets. And I want the sets to have different bonuses. And I want to see Blizzard really lean a little bit more into sets and kind of like unique sets with different unique bonuses that aren't always power bonuses, but they were just like unique things. Maybe it gives you slow fall. Maybe a certain set gives you the ability to increase your speed by 1% or something. Just different Interesting set bonuses. I'd also like to see gray gear sets, white gear sets, um, and I would like to see um, pet gear. I would like to see equipable gear for your hunter pets. I'd also like to see mounts that have equipable gear. I'd like to see a mount where you can get saddles for your mounts. I would like to see mounts where you can get saddlebags for your mounts to increase inventory space. Stuff like that, I think, are easy wins in a Classic Plus world, and I think that those things should be definitely considered. I would also like to see pets sold maybe through the Blizzard store or even obtained in game through long quest chains that can loot for you, so you don't have to loot. You just have your cosmetic pet out, and he just loots for you. I mean, they could do that, but I mean, the stats that don't make sense in a way, it kind of is part of. I think it's part of Vanilla WoW's charm. Having like a cloth item that's got like intellect and strength. I mean, to me, I personally, I don't have a problem with it, as long as you have items that drop that do make sense. As long as there's plenty of items that drop that do make sense, I don't have a problem with items dropping that don't really make sense. I just think it's kind of a quirky thing that adds a little bit of charm to Vanilla WoW. I don't know, so it doesn't really bother me too much. Um, I just think it's not a priority. You know what I mean? There's way more things you can work on that would make that are more important than something like that. But if it's off a boss though, lost. Like if you're talking about like that's off a boss. So if it's off like a boss, yeah, I agree with you there. I think if it's off a boss, I wouldn't want boss item drops that don't make sense. I don't want to kill like a boss and he drops like a cloth item that has like strength and intellect. I'm like that's kind of silly. Mm. Yeah, I think class specific. I would like to see more chains, more quests, but I want them to be kind of like rare and you have to discover them. You know what I mean? Kind of like really off the beaten path. I want to see a lot more of that stuff like that, where you find some weird guy in a cave somewhere and he gives you some sort of vague quest to do something, and it ends up being like kind of a lengthy quest chain that in the end gets you like maybe a fairly powerful item. I would also like to see green gear and I'd like to see green gear drops reduced dramatically. I'd like to see a lot less gear drops in general, overall, across the board. I would also like to see. I want to reduce the amount of gear that drops. I want to make when you do get something, like when you do get a drop, I want to make it feel a lot more important or a lot more exciting because it's a lot more rare. So I think I would like to scale way back on drops, and that also would make crafting more important because since you don't get dropped items as much, being able to craft something is going to become more pivotal to what you're doing. But I would like to try to play into class identity even more if at all possible. What I mean by that is maybe to the point of even like scaling back on healing potions. You know what I mean? Like make healing potions harder to get. Uh, what I'm trying to say is force class identity to be a little bit more
You need something?
like kind of more the status quo. Meaning like if you're gonna do something dangerous, you kind of might need a healer just because maybe healing potions aren't as available to you. You know what I mean? Um, but I do think Classic Plus should have a. If they're not going to get, I think that we really need a Classic Plus hardcore server because if Classic Plus came out and there was a hardcore server, I would. That's what I would play. I would play Classic Plus hardcore before I'd ever touch anything else. And hopefully they'd have self found So my preferred choice for Classic Plus would be right away to play Self-Found Hardcore because that's going to eliminate the gold selling and the botting, you know, because you can't trade with other players, you can't use the auction house. So right away, you get rid of all the shenanigans of gold selling. You know, that's the stuff that makes the game crap. People don't. I think a lot of people don't realize how badly gold selling and buying ruins the experience of the game. I think a lot of people don't really understand because they're so used to it being that way they don't even think about it. But when you're forced to play on a self-found hardcore server, you start to enjoy the game the way it was meant to be played. You know, which is just enjoying the leveling experience, enjoying the difficulty of trying to do stuff because you can't just be like, oh, I'm just gonna go to the auction house and buy like the best gear, right? Like you have to go out there and get gear in some way, whether it's a dungeon or craft something, or you know, you can't just go to the auction house and you can't just swipe your credit card, buy a bunch of gold, go to the auction house, buy like a bunch of blues for your character. It just doesn't work that way. So yeah, oh yeah, yeah, I have. I actually have. I actually tanked on Shaman all the way up to like 20, like level 28, doing some of like Wailing Caverns and stuff, and it was fun. It was fun. It was actually pretty fun. I did that on a hardcore server too. I think that I still have that character, by the way. I still have that character. Shaman Tank is pretty cool. The problem with the Shaman Tank is I love their abilities, like the Earth Shock. I love the flexibility of shamans. They have so much flexibility. But they start to fall off tanking wise because they start to become less tanky as they get higher in level. You know. So in a way that makes it kind of fun because it becomes harder and harder to tank the higher you get in level, which means you have to, you know, which means this is a skill based thing. You got to be very skillful and know what you're doing, you know. But yeah, shaman tank is really fun. It's actually that's my preferred way to play the shaman actually. Like when I was playing shaman, that's what I enjoyed the most was doing shaman tank. Now you're making me want to play a shaman. Damn it. God. You know, maybe if we get this character to the thing is there's three different characters I want to play. If this one when this one reaches 60, I would really like to level. There's three different ones I'm thinking about leveling. I'm thinking about leveling a a warlock, or a rogue. And now that you mentioned the shaman or shaman, so warlock, rogue, shaman are the three that I would be interested in leveling up. Yeah, alchemy is just it's so strong. You know what I mean? Yeah, I would 100% go alchemy. People go like engineering and stuff, but to me, alchemy is way better. Even in hardcore, a lot of people roll engineering. I mean, if you're really bad about aggroing mobs and you need target dummies, then that's one thing. But if you're skilled in the game and you're not, you know, you're very good at, you know, not aggroing extra mobs, and you're very good at dropping combat when you need to, then alchemy is by far the superior progression. And it's not even close, in my opinion. I wonder if I should do this quest. I don't know. I don't really want to do these quests. They're too low level. We could probably just. Do I have get Chucky's ring? Yeah, we've got Chucky's. Yeah, we've got that quest. We could do that quest, I think. Oh, that was actually. You know what was funny about that loss? That's actually AI. That's actually you. That's actually YouTube, dude. check this out. If you go into YouTube, check this. This actually it came up in YouTube. And let's say I go to like one of my shorts. I think I'm trying to remember where it came up. And let's say like there's the worm right here. Let's say I view a short. See where it. There's a remix. No, I don't know. I don't know what remix does.
No competition.
Yeah, I don't remember how. I can't remember how it came up. Let me go to. It might come up under managed videos. You know, it comes up on the phone. That's what it was. It comes up on my cell phone. So if I go to my cell phone, so I can't really show you on the computer. If I go to my cell phone and I look at one of my shorts on my cell phone, it gives me an option to modify the video or to create a new short based off of that short and to add like AI generated stuff into the video. And it's like AI based. So it's like they've somehow integrated like almost like a mid-journey type engine into YouTube. And so, yeah, I created that worm, and I just thought it was kind of funny. So I'd never done it before. I was like, hey, let's try this out. So it was weird, man. It was kind of weird. I thought it was just a fun little thing to do. Yeah, yeah, it was kind of funny. People were like, what the hell is that? And I purposely just didn't say anything. Just let it ride. Let people's imagination figure out, try to figure out what it is, or it's like that was the goal. Was we were in the desert, so I was trying to come up with something that was like an Iraqi worm. They should, I think that would be another good, we can obviously modify Classic Plus to add cool little content. Obviously add different, mobs and world bosses. You could always add new world bosses and stuff. And I think some Dune worms, like when you think about like Ungoro Crater, you've got the Devilsaur, right? The Devilsaurs, and they're like elite raptors. So just put the Dune worms in as like an elite, just like that, like some of the other elite mob, and maybe you could add another. You could expand on that and just add another type of leatherworking. So so you've got tribal leatherworking. Think about this, Lost. You've got tribal leatherworking, you got elemental leatherworking, and you've got dragon scale leather. Well, now you're going to add an entirely new leatherworking section based off of the Dune, the worms of Iraqi, and it would be desert leatherworking, right? Fucking desert leatherworking, right? Or like, you know, I wouldn't call it worm working, but I would go with like you could do like desert or something off of the play off of the kind of survival elements of the desert. So maybe it would be like wasteland. There you go, wasteland leatherworking. And how cool would that be? Wasteland, and and instead of putting worms in Daenerys, create some new deserts. Create like a new area of the world that has like a waste and call the like it has a new desert and call the desert the weeping. Well, I'm going to steal this from Michael Moorcock, so forgive me, Michael. Call the desert the weeping waste, and in that weeping waste desert, then you have those worms, and those elite worms are killed to farm specific things, leather and like teeth, leather. Those teeth and leather are used for crafting high level items. Dude, I can come up with ideas for with Lost. I can come up with ideas all day long for Classic Plus. We can add that to my list. Do I have? Let's see if I still have it. All right, so we got. Um, let's see. I might have lost my. I hope I didn't lose it. See it? Oh well. I always have kind of like a running documents of just putting down notes for like whatever, Classic Plus, whatever. But I don't know. I think my computer crashed the other day and I might have lost it. But it's all up here as I point to my head. It's all in my head, man. Yeah, it's again, it's not difficult. I mean, coming up with I think it's really simple. I could 100% come up with a Classic Plus version that would knock people's socks off, that people would love. That would be a massive hit. I'm 100% certain that I could basically put a template out there, a little like game plan to show you like these are the things you need to add in Classic Plus, and this would go over big. This would be big. This would be successful. People would love this. They would like what I have to offer. You know what I mean? I'm 100% confident that I could do that. So Blizzard should just hire me. Except I don't really want to work for Blizzard. I mean, maybe as a consultant. That's not true. If they want to hire me, go right ahead. But I don't trust that they wouldn't then fire me. With the amount of people Blizzard was laying off recently. But yeah, I'm sure that I could come up with a pretty good version of Classic Plus that people, the classic WoW Andes would like. I'm not going to say everybody's going to like it, but people like me, people who've been around Classic for a long time, who enjoy, Classic WoW, who enjoy Vanilla WoW, it would be something that they would definitely like. Yeah, it's not hard. I mean, there's so many obvious, like I said, the obvious wins. There's so many obvious wins. There's so many easy things you can put into a Classic Plus that are just no brainers that 90 not everybody's gonna like. There's always people that are gonna dislike. They're gonna have their own opinions or whatever. But you know, I'm not gonna bother. Let's get rid of some of these quests. We're not gonna do this ever. We're not gonna do this. Maybe we'll do these. We just need to go. We just need to go to Daenerys and. It'll be interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see what they come up with. Um, I don't know when BlizzCon is. I think BlizzCon's still like a few months away, right? But I imagine they're going to announce at BlizzCon Classic Plus. I'm pretty like 90% sure they're going to announce it. The biggest question though, is if they do announce Classic Plus, when are they going to release it? I think everybody thinks they're going to announce it, which I do think they will. Next question really is when's it going to come out? Like, so have they been working on Classic Plus? I mean, really, they said that Season of Discovery was a testing ground for Classic Plus, and that theoretically, that's what they said that. They said that Season of Discovery was a testing ground to see what would work in a custom kind of, Classic Plus type server. If that's true, then in theory, they've been kind of working on Classic Plus for quite a while. But who knows? They invited Zaryu and Guzu and a lot of those streamers out to Blizzard this, week ago or whatever it was, and they're basically under an NDA not to talk about what they saw. So I mean, everybody pretty much thinks it was Classic Plus stuff. So we'll just have to wait and see. Wait and see what they announce, what little nuggets, what morsels they release for us. What are the little yummy things? You know what I think? I don't know if my Razer software is running, which means my audio's it hasn't been running. So my audio's been kind of crappy right now, guys, because without my Razer running, my volume settings aren't really set up correctly. Let's fix that. All right, Mike should sound a little bit, hopefully, better now. Yes. Source reported. Killed by it reported. Is that a player? Death source reported. I don't know what that is. Look, it says playtime 0 minutes. I don't know. Whatever. This log is kind of screwy.
Talk to me. Keep it real.
Alright, so we do need to turn in our fishing quest. Right here, Nat Pagel, Angler Extreme. And then we have, and then I think we probably should just go to Daenerys. We've got a quest here to turn in. The Borrower. I don't really remember what that quest was. And then, of course, we've got the Screecher Spirits to turn in. We also have this quest, the Sunken Temple, to turn in. And then we can pick up the Andre Firebrand and Cliff Scorpion Sting quests. Start knocking out these South Sea Shakedown quests. Lots of quests. But yeah, that idiot who came in the stream earlier, Lost, it was saying, oh, that, what was he? I don't know. I kind of put him in timeout, which hit all of his messages. Let's see. Well, let's see. View deleted message. He said Blizzard is slop. And he said it's been nothing but slop for 10 years and people coping for Classic Plus slop. That's what he said. And he said Classic Plus was Turtle WoW. So this is probably someone who's butthurt that Turtle WoW was shut down because he said Classic Plus was Turtle WoW. No one cares about what Blizzard has to say. So that's just not true. I think there's obviously going to be, there's probably a ton of people that played Turtle WoW that absolutely hate Blizzard right now because Blizzard killed Turtle WoW. So there's probably a lot of people that absolutely, but I don't like Blizzard either. Let's be honest. If you ask me my opinion of Blizzard, I don't have anything against the developers, obviously. When I say I don't like Blizzard, I'm not talking about the people that work at Blizzard. They're just, they're just the robots that do what they're told to do. I don't have anything against them at all. I'm just talking about the people that run the company. Like the president of Blizzard, all the, I kind of went the wrong way here. I'm talking about like the board of directors. Those are the people that I don't like at Blizzard. The people that drive how the company does their business. Those are the people that are evil and they're all about greed and they don't care about the players. That's what I don't like. Those are the people I don't like. So when I say I hate Blizzard, I don't hate the developers. The people that work at Blizzard, most of them are probably, good people. So it's not their fault that they're forced to do some of the things that they're forced to do. I have a job and I have to do things on my job that I don't really want to do, but it's not my choice. They pay me to do a job and I have to do it. Oh, the other thing I kind of wanted to do, maybe tonight, is to go into Nomer and see if we can get the Hydrocane off of the boss, off of the first boss in Nomer, because I would like to have that so we could have the underwater breathing. That's something I would like to do. But first, let's turn in our fishing quest. The Angler Extreme. This is also going to clear out all these items out of my inventory.
Hello. See you around. See you later.
Alright, now that's a fine catch.
Safe travels.
Boom, you have learned a new ability. Look at the bar moving. It's like, yes. Looking for Mott Girl. What level is this guy? Oh, he's not online. We'll probably get some Classic Plus leaks. I mean, when is BlizzCon? When is BlizzCon 2026? It is September 12th. So, I mean, we got, what is that, 4 months away? Let's see, we're January, February, March, April, we're May. So June, July, August, September. So, like, over 4 months away is BlizzCon. I would love to go to BlizzCon for one. I've never been to a BlizzCon. I always wanted to go. Maybe this year I'll go to BlizzCon. Maybe I'll talk to my wife and see. I wish I could get her to go with me, but that's 4 months away. Hopefully she'll, maybe some of her medical issues will be solved by then. My wife has so many medical issues, it's hard for her to travel. Anyway, she wouldn't go because she won't fly. She can't fly because of the... It'd be bad for her blood. Yeah. My wife has so many medical problems, it's really sad.
What can I do for you?
Gadgets in.
Keep your feet on the ground.
Let's ask ChatGPT. I need to plan a trip to California for BlizzCon 2026. Can you help me plan this out? Recommend flight travel. Fly in Thursday, September 10th. BlizzCon ticket is $250 to $300. The hotel is $9,000 to $1,800 for 4 nights. The flight from Florida, $350 to $700. Let's just use the maximum cost. Uber, Lyft, food, and merchandise. Total realistic range for BlizzCon 2026 would be $2,000 to $4,000. I don't think my wife would would appreciate me going. I don't think she'd want me to spend that much money, but maybe we can do a GoFundMe. GoFundMe so I can get to go to BlizzCon. I've never been to BlizzCon. That would be cool. Let's do it. Let's do a GoFundMe drive to get me money so I can actually go to BlizzCon for once. We need some rich people out there who have loads of money to help this poor person get to BlizzCon for once.
Everything you never do, and all you never say, never make it easier to numb out all the pain. Not like anything was wrong. It never made it right.
Off and away. Very good.
You're the one to come on strong, so why am I all alone? Here we go again. The same old thing. Smiling through a bleeding heart. I'll fake it till I break apart. What's it gonna take to look away? Man, some days I hate this town.
We didn't open up our Mythal Trunks. We got a mana potion. More mana potions. And some hibernal gloves, which we can't use. Let's go ahead and sell. Let's see, we don't need this. We don't need this. I don't think we need this.
Some things never feel the same.
Don't need this. Don't need this.
Where to start?
Don't need this. Don't need this.
It's not like this is new to me. I really shouldn't care.
Okay.
It's not like you were there for me, so why do I still want you here? Here we go again, the same old thing. Smiling through a bleeding heart, I'll fake it till I break apart. What's it gonna take before I break? Man, some days I hate this town. You never fail to let me down. Better stay away before I break now. There's nothing more to say. I'm only days away from a meltdown. What's it gonna take before I break? Man, some days I hate this town. You never fail to let me down. Better stay away before I break now. There's nothing more to say. I'm only days away from a meltdown.
Already know. Knife and soup, yes. And Sunscale salmon, sure.
It's more or less
Lamon.
drawing lines. Recede to vacant grave.
I need to get an acoustic guitar. I hear acoustic guitar playing in a song like this and it makes me want to play acoustic. Acoustic guitars are hard to buy because there's so many. Like when it comes to electric guitars, I know which guitars I like, and I'm like, oh, I could get this guitar, I get this guitar. When it comes to acoustic, I'm like, oh my god.
Fear of what's ahead, regret of what's behind. Feel so old and short on time. Held my breath, failed to let it out. Carried the loss of time I'm missing now. Once so small, pure and so alive. Grow so fast, learning how to fly. Time has come, nothing I can do. Fearing the day of missing you. Always something.
Oh! Level 48. Nice. Getting there finally. We're getting there. We actually get it to level 48. We get new Raptor Strike, and I think my pet gets new ranks of armor and stamina. So we'll have to go hit the trainer here pretty soon. Keep going, baby. Talent points. We still can't get to Frenzy. It requires 25 points in Beast Mastery. But we're going to go with... We're still pushing our pet's Critical Strike. We need to push his damage up as well. But pushing his Critical Strike is key. So we're still working on just making my pet stronger. I don't see a lot of pet crits going on over here. See, like, no pet crits. Come on, buddy. There's a pet. Wow. I can't believe he's critting so little. Even after we put so many talent points to increase his critical strike chance. I wonder if his crits are based off of... See, there's a crit. But I wonder if his crits are based more off of his... They should be based off of every attack. Yeah, see, that was a crit, 99. Oh, that was me, though. It wasn't my pet. Okay. Melee. Now, this window's not correctly showing, but I'm assuming that these are crits. Yeah, I'm assuming this is a crit. Min crit, average crit, max crit. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. For some reason, Recount's not showing all the information correctly. That's kind of weird. This away a little bit, just because that other guy was coming over. Oh, I need to come over. Freebooter's Shooch. Here we can. Come on. I did get a new dagger from a fishing crate. It's the Vorpal Dagger of the Bear, level 45. Unfortunately, it's fast, so if we merge our damage here, I still think it outpaces my slow main hand weapon because my slow main hand weapon is lower level. Like you can see, I'm doing 113 DPS per second, so we clear that out. And we equip this weapon. This weapon only does 22 damage per second, where that one does like 29 or something. This one has a much higher top end damage, so the crits are going to be a lot bigger for Raptor Strike, but plus it also has the Fiery Blaze enchant on it. You know, the one we got from the Badlands. But it still isn't going to out DPS the dagger, unfortunately. Yeah, see 104. Oh. Oh, we came out. Actually, we came out higher. 114. Not bad. Not bad. Amazing how the slower main hand weapon can catch up because of the big crits. Plus, it's actually a funner weapon because, like I said, it's got the fiery blaze enchant on it. So it's fun to get those extra fire proc. They're just cool to see those fire procs come in, like that one right there. Yeah. Stupid death notification keeps throwing errors. Actually, we're doing more damage with this weapon, which surprised me a little bit. Oh. But we need to equip this in my offhand then. Better. Yeah, it would proc more faster weapons because it's a flat percentage chance to proc on hit. It would proc more faster weapons, yeah. But since but because we use wing clip so much on the melee hunter, you know, you're actually attacking quite a bit, so it's better to put it on the main hand, right? Because you can use wing clip whenever you want. You know, wing clip ignores the speed of your weapon. Like, look, I can wing clip. Wing clip is just based on global cooldown. So we can spam wing clips to proc to get more fiery blaze procs. See, like right there, we did a wing clip and it procced fiery blaze. So yeah, definitely better to put it on your main hand weapon. Okay, we're getting out of here. The mage is too close there. The mage pulled. You gotta be careful when you have mages AoEing near you, because that mage could easily get me killed. You know, if I accidentally and for whatever reason, you know, hit one of those mobs or something. Like there when the mage ice blocked, you know. He might have even been trying to get me killed there just by ice blocking, like right next to me, like he did. You know, pull like 10 mobs over, then just ice block right next to me. Like if I would have like accidentally hit something, or maybe like when my pet cast his Furious Howl, it could have easily like aggroed like all those mobs on top of me. So you got to be really careful when anybody's like pulling mobs near you like that. It's very dangerous. Very dangerous. Just be careful. And 10 damage versus 80. Wow. So the next rank of Raptor Strike is going to go from 80 damage to 110. That's actually a pretty good increase. You have to think about how much more the crits are going to be. Looks like my pet's doing a little more damage. Hey, Grumpy, how's it going, man? How you doing? We're just grinding on the melee hunter. It's a slow grind. We're starting to get a little stronger. Pet's starting to get a little bit stronger. Maybe 3 more levels when we max out that pet's increased damage. That should help quite a bit. Good, good. You know, 3 more levels, we get him, you know, knock out 3 more on Unleashed Fury, so... Of course, once we get into Frenzy, then the pet's really going to start doing damage. I may switch to a kitty pretty soon. I usually like to wait till about 55, but I may switch earlier this time just to see. I don't know. I like wolves though. Furious Howl is a good ability, so we may hold off until... Normally when I switch to kitties when I'm around level 55. Oh, you're retired now? Dude, congrats, man. Oh, that's so awesome, dude. I want to retire so bad. I'm 56 years old, Grumpy, and I want to man, I can't wait to retire. I'm so ready for retirement, man. I want to retire in 10 years. I want to retire at 66. That's my goal. Where can I do it or not? I have no idea, but that's my goal. Yeah, yeah, I am a fisherman. I just finished my fishing quest earlier, so we just unlocked fishing to 300. Oh, no, sorry about the disability, dude. Yeah, that sucks. But that ended. Okay. Too much pain? Oh man. Was it like back pain? I'm gonna guess back or knee. That's the most common pain people run into. I have a lot of back pain. I don't know how to fix my back. I mean, I do know how to. I kind of have an idea how to fix my back pain, which is just really strengthening my core. You know, I need more core exercises. I have back pain because I'm a computer programmer, so I'm sitting in my chair all day, not moving around. And then when I get off work, what do? I play video games. So I'm sitting in my chair. So I spend too much time sitting, and I think that's the cause of my back pain. Well, I'm like 100% sure that's the cause of my back pain. Just too much lethargy, man. I don't have the quest for these. Oh, I do have the quest. I was gonna say I thought I should. Let's do it. We got some swashbucklers. No cartilage in the knees? Oh. Yeah. I played tennis. Like, I was a big tennis player for a very long time. And so I have worn down the meniscus on both my knees. It's very thin because I wore that down from years and years and years of tennis. So actually, like, running for me is not really a good idea. Like, any kind of impact on my knees is not good because it'll wear it down further. That's why, like, swimming or like, swimming is probably the best thing for me. Like, stuff that isn't going to be impactful on my knee joint. Yeah, that could be. I do some exercises, Sam. I do balancing exercises. I do an exercise where I stand on one leg and I do like one-legged squats where I take my left foot and I put it up over my right knee, which basically stretches out my left hip. And then while my left ankle is over my right knee, I bend down and do like one-legged squats, and then I repeat that on the other side. So I do a lot of a lot of balancing, which is really good for believe it or not, it's really good for your mental acuity. It's kind of like a shaman monk trick, actually. It's really good for your mental focus to really work on your balance. And so I don't have any issues with my hips. My hips actually feel really good. I don't ever have pain in my hips. I don't ever have like sciatic nerve pain really. My pain is just in my lower back where it just feels stiff and it just feels weak. I think the muscles, I think my core is not strong enough. I need to do more like, planking and, I've been doing push-ups, but I need to do, uh, do like the yoga stretch where you get down and, and kind of stretch your back out. And there's one where you are on your hands and knees and you kind of bend your stomach down towards the ground and then you bend your stomach up to where your like back is arched, you know, which is really a good one. You work at a restaurant for the last 11 years. It was a college hangout. My biggest responsibility was keeping the dining room clean. That was your exercise. COVID happened. What this says, we don't have a dining room that gets dirty anymore. Huh. Oh, interesting. I don't have him, do I? No, damn it. I could have sold him right now. Yeah, it is a dock worker, though. Let's grab this guy. It's it's a little hard on my right knee because I had ACL reconstruction done on my right knee, so I have to be careful on that knee. So like I don't bend as deep on the right knee as I can on my left. Like when I do one-legged squats on my right knee, I don't bend too far down because it's a little bit too much. It's a little bit too hard on that knee. But part of the rehab for like your ACL reconstructive surgery is balancing exercises where you do stand on one leg, because when you balance, like when you're standing on one leg and you're balancing, there's all these little tendons around your knee joint that kind of help support your knee. And what happens when you injure your knee, like an ACL reconstruction, is those tendons get really weak. And so one of the exercises they do for the reconstruction, kind of rehabilitation, is they get you on this little like circular wooden platform, which is like got a ball. I don't know what it's called, but it's got like a little ball underneath it. So it's like basically like a balancing platform that you stand on. So it's like it wobbles, and so you have to stand on it and balance so that you keep it level. So it's kind of the same idea. What you're doing is you're forcing your knee, the tendons around your knees, to help stabilize your knee, and by doing that, you're strengthening those tendons. So doing like the one-legged balance exercises and squats kind of does the same thing. It's working on strengthening the tendons around the knee and the muscles. It's really good for your knees in general. You know, most of your job was just standing around. Yeah, I heard my knee playing tennis. Like I said, I was a big tennis player, and I tore my ACL playing on a clay court actually, but it was my fault. I'd been a big tennis player up until I was like in my 20s, and then I quit playing tennis and went into the real working world and hadn't played tennis in about 10 years. And so I tried to come back and play tennis when I was like 35 or 36, and I tried to play it as if, you're a typical guy. You're the weekend warrior. You think you can just play just the way you used to. And of course, my knee wasn't. Obviously, my knee was not. Just wasn't as strong as it used to be. So I basically tore my ACL. Yeah, those exercises, Sam. It's the I can't remember which one it is. I think it's the cat. I think it's the cat one is the best one. But those yoga exercises are fantastic for strengthening the core, and it really help with the back pain. Might be the cow too. The cat and the cow are really good. Maybe we'll get an upgrade in this chest, guys. What do you think? Wouldn't it be great if we got like a blue two-hand weapon? Oh man, like a blue one-hand slow weapon, or maybe a purple weapon. Ooh, I don't know. What we got? I was excited because there were two layers, which a lot of times means there's a green item in the chest, but fortunately, no green weapon. We keep getting healing potions, like way too many healing potions. Guess I shouldn't complain, but man, we get a lot of healing potions. Don't like going up here because I don't want to aggro too many. But it looks like he's killed most of them, so mage. We could respec. I mean, just for the lulls, we could respec and get counterattack, just for fun. And if we respec, we could grab 1 point into trap mastery, 1 point into counterattack. Go ahead and finish out improved aspect of the monkey, and then we'd only be 2 points into ferocity. But that would give us, that way we could face tank more. My dodge would be higher, and we would have counterattack if we get, you know, to basically kind of kite a little bit if we wanted to. So, yeah, could be interesting. And we have enough money that if we didn't like it, we could always just respec back. Like, it wouldn't be a big deal. I don't think I've ever respected on this character yet, so we could, you know, I got 76 gold, so not really too worried about having to respec. We got 3. Eh. That horde probably wanted me to die. The horde was like sticking around because they probably wanted me to die. They wanted to see a level 48 die. I'm sorry to disappoint you. You know? Like, I am sorry to disappoint you. I'm too slippery. I'm too sneaky to die. Alright. Need 2 more hats. Are we done with the dock workers? I think we are. We're done with the dock workers. We just need 2 more hats and a couple of the swashbucklers, and they're not spawning yet, so kill somebody in the meantime. I screwed up and didn't get Andre Firebird quest, which sucks. Pull back a little bit. Go ahead and grab this swashbuckler. We just need like 1 more swashbuckler? I can't remember. Well, here, let's look. We need 2 more hats and 2 more swashbucklers. Hmm. Okay. I think that's it. Yeah, we're done. Unfortunately, we didn't have Andre Firebeard, but that's alright. We still finished the other 2 quests, I think. I don't know why this person's not looting this chest, but I just beat her to it. Sorry. I think I beat her to it. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh my gosh, she just beat me. That was funny. Actually, uh, well, you were. I'm not going to respond to that. I don't think that was rude. They were just standing there. You weren't moving. You're standing there not moving. I mean, that was rude. I didn't think that was rude. She was just standing there. She wasn't moving. Like, you were just, if you're asleep at the wheel, sorry, man. Hmm. I'll just say you looked asleep at the wheel there. Sorry. Maybe wake up next time, I mean, she was just standing there. She wasn't doing anything. Plus, you don't realize I can only use weapons. Whatever. She doesn't understand that the treasure chests are a lot more valuable to me than someone who's not running these challenges. I wasn't trying to steal the chest from her. She just looked like she was AFK, and I was like, whatever. Anyways, let's turn these quests in. JP, what's up, man? You always get on when I'm like thinking about getting off. That sounded wrong, didn't it? You always get on when I was thinking about logging out. Because I do have to go to work in a bit, but we'll see. We were just finishing up the, like, wow, this boots is worth more than the helm? That's kind of crazy, isn't it? You wouldn't think that. I know, well, no, you always get on, like, I mean, dude, it's like almost 5 a.m. here. I've been streaming for an hour and 47 minutes, so. It is Friday tomorrow, though, so I don't know what's going on, though, this weekend.
Be careful out there.
Oh, here's where the quest was. I forgot this is where you could pick it up at. So you can pick this quest up in multiple locations, right? Because you can pick these up in town. Wow, what a bummer. I would have... Didn't realize you could pick it up right there. I could have finished the Andre quest, but... We need to go hit the trainer, though. We just hit level 48, though, in JP. So we're gonna go hit the trainer, and... I was toying with the idea of respecking. But I don't think it's a good idea to respec. I don't think I need volatile rum. I'm trying to think if I need this. I don't know. Maybe we'll hold on to it for a little bit, but I don't really think we need it. What'd you say, Grumpy? You're gonna go to bed soon?
How are you?
I have so much junk in my inventory here. What can we get rid of? This is going to cost us 50 gold for another bag slot. I don't think we need all this thick leather.
See you around.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on this weekend. I haven't had a chance to play WoW much over the weekend. I'm gonna make an appeal to my wife this weekend and see if I can do a little bit more WoW gaming. Yeah, I've been spending almost all day Saturday with her and her mom, and then even Sunday we were doing stuff. She's gonna want to go shopping this weekend because we just got some new furniture. I know she wants to go out and get some stuff for the living room. So because of because of my wife's physical and health conditions, she doesn't like to go places by herself. She's always worried her heart might cause an issue. She wants me to be there in case it does. Ba, 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 ba. You usually get how I'm getting. Yeah, usually. Yeah, I know. That's the time that you. Yeah.
Have a good one.
What's this for? Oh, we don't need that. I guess we can open it, but it's probably just junk. Oh, hoop earrings, 3 silver.
Well met.
Rich. This.
Light bless you.
Yeah, I wouldn't have looted that chest that was by that person there. I wouldn't have looted that if it wasn't for the challenge I'm doing. The fact that I can only get upgradable weapons from treasure chests. That was the only reason I kind of was being kind of I don't want to say a jerk, but the treasure chests are a lot more valuable to me than they are other players. Because to them, they can get weapons from anywhere. From dungeons, from quests, from just drops. I can't. So it's a lot more difficult for me to get upgraded weapons. So when I see a treasure chest, I'm like, yeah, I need to open that up and see what's in it. Oh yeah, I spent a lot of gold on the bank. I mean, I spent 10 gold on one bank slot, and I've spent 35 gold on additional bank slots. So yeah, I was gonna tell that person too. But I just figured I didn't want to waste the time. I was gonna tell this person, hey, the only reason I went after that is because I can only get weapons, but I figured they probably wouldn't understand, or whatever. So I didn't want to bother. They probably wouldn't get it. Let them think I'm rude. Worst things in the world, man. Let's go with the trainer. I always thought it was funny that when you look up here, like this, there's like this rocky section of the ground here the texture is really low resolution. Also, there's like these towers up here, and you can't get into any of that stuff, right? Like, there's no way to get up into those part of the keep. I've always wondered about that. I guess in later versions when you can fly, maybe you can. I don't. I think they took that away though. Does that tower even exist? Like in versions of World of Warcraft where you have a flying mount? I don't know if that even exists. I don't remember ever flying up on a flying mount and landing up on. See this stuff up here? I don't remember that stuff even being there. Maybe it is. Oh, that's something we'd have to see in a later version of the game. I don't remember this top. Maybe it's in there. Maybe I'm just misremembering. Probably just misremembering. Alright, so we should have... Okay. Aspect of the pack, don't care. Do we need? We can't really use any of these ranged abilities, so don't need any of that. But we can't. But we do want Raptor's Drag, rank 7. Disengage can be useful, so go ahead and train that. That's it. We don't need that. Other stuff is a waste of time. Now we've got this. Great stamina, national. I don't think I have enough training points. My pet's hungry. I don't think I even have enough training points. What is he at, like 13 points? If you look at my pet's currently at great stamina, for example, rank 7, which costs 100 points. And then you look at the new one, how much does the new one cost? This is how you have to do it. Because the way it works, it's really stupid. Like when you see great stamina, it says 125 training points. It doesn't cost me 125 training points. It costs me 125 training points minus rank 7's training point total, right? Because it doesn't show you what you need to train it. It shows you the total as if you didn't train anything ever. And you just came in and said, oh, I want to train, stamina rank 8. Yes, it's 125, but we've already spent 100 into great stamina. So what it costs to train great stamina rank 8 is only 25 points because I spent 100 already. So it's just kind of weird how that works. Kind of like me remembering the pathway from then. Oh yeah, I didn't even know that was there though. I don't know if I misremembered that. Maybe I did, but that pathway here, I'm sure that I've walked through there before, but it felt so new to me. I was like, what the hell is this? You know? So here's the thing. We could respec, but I don't think it would be a good idea. Let's see how much it costs to respec.
Well met.
If I click yes, I do, is it going to respec or is it going to tell me how much it costs? Okay, so it's 1 gold. So what I'm saying is we could respec just to get counterattack, but counterattack doesn't really do any damage. It does 40 damage, which is like nothing. But if we wanted to respec and do more face tanking, where we're basically my pet's taunt is off. The other thing that's nice about doing that is our pet was going to do more damage. If we can dump most of the pet's focus, I think that's another reason why grabbing a cat now is better, because although respecking would kind of hurt that because we take points out of the pet, but I think respecking into a cat now would be better than the wolf, just simply because now that we've got a higher crit rate on the pet. We want a cat because he attacks faster with claw, and claw doesn't have a cooldown, right? Like bite itself, like your pet, like a wolf's pet, bite is his main core DPS ability. Bite has a cooldown, has a 10-second cooldown. Claw has 0 cooldown. Claw is based on the amount of focus your pet has, right? So what you do is you get a cat, you turn off growl, you turn off everything but claw, and you just want him to spend all his focus on claw, and then he'll be doing quite a bit of damage, right? But then that means I'm probably gonna have threat because I don't have growl turned on. Well, I tell you what, little loss. It's not an easy journey, and you have to look at melee with. You have to understand that it's not going to be as exciting. I mean, you don't have as many buttons to press, so it's all about positioning, using your traps, trying to you got to set up your melee hunter. I mean, you really have to go with deflection and improved aspect of the monkey because you're going to be sitting in monkey a lot. So you want to be as survivable as you can. You want to be able to like just a few minutes ago, I was killing the pirates and I was fighting 3 pirates at once, and I was able to take out 3 pirates. They were all like level 43, so I was higher level, but anyways, I was able to take out 3 of them. So I could take 3 mobs, fairly easily. Now, once I get some better, remember I can only use gear that I can craft. So if you have to take into account that my gear is not the best gear in the world. I mean, some of it's blue, but it's all crafted gear that I made myself. Also, I only have 1 ring because I can only use jewelry that comes from treasure chests or fishing crates. So these items came from fishing crates, right? And then I'm still using, look at this cloak I'm using. I'm still using a level 10 cloak because there's nothing, the only other thing I could craft would be like the deviant scale cloak, and I've just been too lazy to do it. All I would gain with that is 2 agility, which is still, it's nice, but that's another thing. I mean, leatherworking, there's no freaking cloaks, right? Look at this. Let's go all let's go back. Like we can make this. We can make the dark cloak, but it's no stats. There's a Hillman cloak, no stats. Frost leather cloak, well, increase frost damage. That doesn't do anything for me. So it's like just another example of why Blizzard really needs to work on Classic Plus on adding more usable recipes for crafting, right? I mean, this is silly. I'm level 48 and I can't craft a decent cloak. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. So, hey, what's up, random? So yeah, so we're still running around with a really bad cloak, but we could respec here into like counterattack, but I think that's a bad move because counterattack really doesn't do that much damage, and it's counterattack's more of a defensive type thing, right? Um, it's nice to have when you are face tanking and you're like basically having all the mobs hit you. It's nice because you can kind of kite one while you kill another. Like if you have 3 mobs hitting you, you can counterattack one, then kind of move off a little bit, fight those 2, and then when you proc counterattack, you can counterattack one of those. So it's a way to kind of avoid a lot of the damage while multiple mobs are hitting you. Also, it's a good way to run away and just reset the fight. So it's good, but we're going to lose damage. So I think what would be good right now for me is probably to go ahead and grab a kitty. I think a kitty at this point. Plus, yeah, I just think it would be probably a good. I don't know what kitties we can get at my level. Let's take a look. And I would like to get. I mean, I would like to get a white one. But see, that's levels aren't going to be good. 1920. Yeah. So nothing there. We need something that's like around level 45 probably. 47. Wow. We can't even find anything in my level range. Here we go. Wow, that's kind of crappy. And Broken Tooth's too low level and too hard to find, too hard to camp. I mean, we want something that's close to my level. The ones that I typically like to use are the Frost Sabers, the Frost Saber Cub. Frost Saber Cub I like to grab at 50, but I don't usually focus on getting him until like level 55 or 56. So we're not there yet. King Bangladesh, we could tame him. But that would be kind of pain. Actually, there's the Ridge Striker Patriarch in the Badlands, 40 to 41. Is that clearly the closest one to me? All right, well then the other option would be a Raptor, right? Not really a big fan on. I'm not really a big fan of Raptors. Let me look at my.
What's on your mind?
I mean, we currently have Goldeneye. He's only level 16 though. I don't want to level a pet that high, that long. It'll take way too long to level him up. Hmm. And there's going to be plenty of Raptors that are close to my level, I'm sure. Like 40 to 41, 43 Elite. Or not. We could go Scorpion. He's easy if you frost trap him. When is spring? What do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean, Grumpy. I mean spring? Spring? It's already spring. It's summer, isn't it? I'm not sure what you mean. The other pet we could do would be a. But we would. What's another high damage pet? We could try a Wind Serpent. I don't typically use Wind Serpents, but they're pretty decent. But probably not going to find anything in my level range either. Feralus. Oh no. The Rogue Veil Screecher, 40, 40, 46 in Feralus. Look at that. He's got Lightning Breath 4 and Dive. What do they? Bats have fast attacks. Ooh, yeah, Bat would be good. That's yeah, because what we want is we want Claw, fast attack speed with Claw. That's what we want. So you're right, Bat would be good if it's got fast attack speed. Let's see. 53. Aldemon. Oh no. Man, we're not much. Yeah, we're kind of screwed on the bat because we have to go to the Eastern Playlands at 53. Man, there's nothing. Like, there are no bats. Like, you go from, like, a level 7 bat, or level 9 bat in Tiriswal Glades all the way to 53. You know? So that sucks. Wow, that's kind of a bummer. What's another high damage pet? Let's put on offensive pets. So Owl would be another one. Owl's probably pretty fast, right? Oh, you meant Winter Spring? Yeah. I'm too low level for stuff in Winter Spring currently, but so let's try Owl. I'm not a big fan of owls. I just don't like the sounds they make. The sounds they make kind of annoy me. Okay, so they got medium health, low armor but high damage, 1.07. Let's double check the cats. Curious what the cat's damage. See, the cats is 1.10, which is very very high, and then raptors are 1.10, and so 0.95, 0.103, 0.95. So cat has higher armor or higher health, and the raptor has a little bit higher armor. Yeah. Well, I don't like the owl because the owl their damage modifier is only 1.7 as opposed to 1.1. 1.07, wasn't it? Let me take a look again. Yeah, see, it's 1.07, so their damage isn't as high as a cat. And I don't like the sounds they make. That screech annoys me. Plus, screech can also aggro other mobs, and we don't want to accidentally aggro mobs. That could be a bad thing. So I would prefer a cat. We just can't. We just don't have any that are close enough to my level. I mean, we can go with. I mean, you can get a Stranglethorn. The highest one we can find is this one, which is King Bangladesh. So, but he's kind of a pain to tame, only because he summons those additional mobs. So, the Richstalker Patriarch in the Badlands is 40. We get a 41. That's not too far off. I could probably live with that, and it's a pretty cool skin. Let's do that. Let's do that.
What's happening?
Let's go grab ourselves a Richstalker Patriarch. He's kind of a cool skin. I like the golden skin with the with the dots, kind of like a cougar. This one here. Why no gorilla? Again, gorilla's got stomp. Gorilla's not a high damage pet. We're looking for a high damage pet. Gorilla's not a high damage pet. That's the easiest answer. Yeah, it does kind of match my armor. I don't like, again, the gorilla's got an AoE ability, the stomp, which again is interesting. I've always wanted to try a gorilla for that reason, but it's not a high damage pet. So I'm looking for more for high damage. And I'm also wanting something that attacks quick. So I want something, I like Claw because it doesn't have a cooldown. I don't even know what a gorilla's abilities are. Like, what's his damaging ability? Let's see. And they consider a gorilla a defensive pet. See this? Check this out. So if you look at a gorilla, see his damage is medium. And his abilities are, wow. So bite, I guess a gorilla bites you. The problem with the gorilla is bite has a cooldown of 10 seconds, right? And we don't want an ability that has a cooldown. We want an ability that doesn't have a cooldown. Yeah. And I don't really do dungeons on this character too much, so we're not really doing dungeons, so it's not really necessary. We're looking for something that's just going to have basically claw, because it's fast attacking, no cooldown. So we're trying to hopefully optimize damage based off of the focus bar, and of course we'll eventually get into,
Be careful.
once we get down into here, we're going to go into Bestial Discipline to increase focus regeneration, which is also going to increase pet's damage. So Kitty really plays into Bestial Discipline, I think, the best because of the fact that Claw doesn't have a cooldown, and it's all based off of just their focus. So that's really what we're focusing on. Forgive the pun. No pun intended.
The ground was bare, I tried to drown. The emptiness couldn't turn it all around.
But yeah, I've always wanted to try a gorilla. I think they could be fun. That would be neat though if I was doing dungeons to grab a gorilla. That'd be pretty cool, actually. Definitely something for that we want to try at some point. Oh, is it swap to Kitty at 30? Okay, that's interesting. I can see that. I think, once you get to the point, once we got down into, 5 out of 5 on Ferocity and we're getting those more crits, then it's better for the fast attack speed because we want to get more attacks in to get more opportunities to get crits. So it really plays into the crit, you know what I mean? And then, of course, like I said, the claw doesn't have a cooldown. And then, of course, once we get down into Frenzy, that also... all this plays into the fast attacking claw ability, in my opinion. Like, I feel like Ferocity and Frenzy really play into abilities, into cats and, raptors and even scorpions. I think scorpions use claw. Anything that uses claw, I think really benefits from the fast attack speed. And I have played around with wolves, and I've played around a lot with bite and claw because you got to realize kits. I can't talk. Hold on a second. Cats can get bite as well, right? So if you look here and you look at a cat, do we have cats open already? They can learn bite, right? That was always like a really interesting thing. The first time I really looked at cats, like damage, like how can we optimize their damage? I mean, you could have a cat with bite and claw, and you could have them both turned on. But in my experience, just having claw on a cat and only claw, and having just claw on, obviously, is your better option. I've run the numbers, and I really, honestly, I couldn't see much of a difference. Like, if you run bite only versus claw, I think claw ends up doing more damage. If you run bite and claw versus just a cat using claw, I think it comes up pretty even. So that's why I just said we'll forget bite altogether, because I don't want... The bite's going to give you the bigger crits, though. So it would be interesting to see bite claw versus just claw again. I might have to test that out again. Yeah, but claw is... Yeah. I like claw because of the no cooldown. What's up, Strafe? How's it going, man? Good day, good day, good day. I can't play too much longer because I have to get some rest, some sleep before work. But again, it is Friday. So it's the last day of work, so I can be a little tired tomorrow because then I can just hopefully get some rest on the weekend. I'm hoping to get out of going to my mother-in-law's house tomorrow. I'm going to ask my wife if I can, but we'll see. That way I can maybe do a longer stream tomorrow, but I don't know how well that's going to go over. We'll see. But yeah, I still like... I'd be curious to check that. I've done it before, though. I mean, I've done the damage comparisons before between bite claw versus a cat with bite and claw active versus a cat with just claw active. And in my experiments, it came out pretty even. Like the damage came out pretty even. And then you know what with JP was really interesting was scorpions. I was very surprised by how much damage scorpions can do. And the only reason, and I actually like scorpions quite a lot. The only reason I don't use scorpions is because of the poison can break CC. And it can be harder to get CC up on mobs, especially if you're doing group play. And you just scorpion just doesn't work well. There's too many times when in hardcore where you may want to freeze an enemy. And the scorpion can screw that up, because if the scorpion's hitting an enemy and he's got poison on him and you try to freeze him, it's just going to break the poison. It's just going to break, the freeze trap. So it's unfortunate, though, because Scorpion is really good. I like Scorpion. Yeah, it's good for PvP. Especially, think about... I just had a thought, JP. I just had a thought. I was thinking about Scorpion because of dots and because of the way PvP works and cleansing and stuff. Think of how awesome it would be if you could have a warlock who could use instead of think about this. This is an entirely new talent specialization that I just came up with, and I've been coming up with some doozies the last couple months for Classic Plus, and that is a warlock. A warlock. What would we call it though? We call it like I don't know because warlock already has demonology, so it'd be similar to demonology, but beastology. What if you had a beastology warlock? You know, I got to come up with a better name than that. But a warlock that could actually, instead of using a voidwalker, and instead of using the succubus, he uses hunter pets. Think about that. Think about a warlock who summons or tames hunter pets. Think about a warlock who's got a scorpion as his pet. Now, not only does he have Curse of Agony, Curse of Corruption, and all that stuff, he's also got like a poison dot on an enemy as well. You know? How cool would that be, right? Like, that would be really cool. All right, so we need to find what we were looking for. We were looking for a Ridgestalker Patriarch. I don't know. Well, here, let's find out. Okay, they're located more over there. Okay, so located over towards the Horde encampment. Yeah, it's over here near the left side here. Now here's where, well, one of the locations where Broken Tooth is. It's right here. I don't see him. Broken Tooth usually spawns here, or if I remember correctly, over here. The question is, once we get this pet, what mobs do we want to farm? Actually, I know what mobs we can farm. We can farm the Feralus Hippogriffs. They're really good for whatever reason, they drop a lot of gear. I don't know why. I've gotten multiple blue drops, although I can't use blue drops. But here's one, is level 38. Looking for 41 is what we want. But wouldn't that be interesting? Can you imagine a warlock who could use hunter pets? Your warlock could run around with like a scorpion, or your warlock could run around with like a wolf pet. I think that'd be kind of cool. And it'd just be a beastology warlock, I guess. And maybe you could pick one, because warlocks have voidwalkers, succubus, and imps. Maybe the beastology warlock could pick one of those regular, so they could have like a succubus if they wanted to, and then they could also have hunter pets. But they couldn't have the succubus and they couldn't have all of them. Level are these mobs? Yeah, I don't really want to aggro and get flagged PvP. Let's just run around the other way, I guess. Plus, I don't have my pet. I just realized I don't have a pet either, so I really don't want to get in combat with anything. I don't even have a pet. I wasn't thinking about that. Like, I'm running around, like, not worrying about anything. And I'm like, shit, I don't even have a pet. There we go. It's only 40, though. I'd really like to get a 41. There we go. I already know what we're going to call her. I think. Yeah, I have the name already. Oh, and it's got stealth. Cool. They also have a it's got prowl, which is kind of cool. Oh, and it's got dash too. Yeah, this pet's already stacked. It's got dash rank 2 and prowl. Cool, very cool. Yeah, I'm digging this pet. This pet's cool. Get her happiness maxed. Um, Problem is she doesn't even know claw right now though. And she's gonna be fast though. Watch how fast this pet's gonna move. Watch the dash here. Now it's not doesn't look fast because she's stealthed. We'll turn stealth off. I guess we can go farm the whelplings, just for like the flame sacks while we let. So we could just farm these whelplings. Um, but Theramore Island has a lot more whelplings to farm. I don't know. Yeah, look how fast the cat is with dash. It's just like zooming. Okay, so pet's doing 18% damage. So only 16% damage on that fight. Of course, I had 2 crits. Oh man. Yeah, let's go kill the whelplings. See if we can get some flame sacks. Ugh, I should go to bed. But I want to get this pet leveled up. Damn it. It would have been so much easier if they had a cat that was closer to my level. And this one's 7 levels off. It's not too bad. I've leveled pets that were like level 6 when I was like level 35, and I'm going to tell you right now, that's brutal. In fact, I don't even want to do that anymore. Like the biggest disparity between me and my pet level, I don't want it to be more than like 15 levels. I've done like 25, 30 levels before, and it's just, it takes literally like, 12 hours. If you're like level 35, for example, you pick up a pet's like level 6, it'll take you like, it can take you like 12, 15, 20 hours of just grinding mobs to get that pet to level up even close to your level. So it's a pretty lengthy process. Yeah, but you called it, JP. This pet matches my dragon scale armor. It's one of my favorite skins, though. This pet skin, the kind of golden, like, what is it, leopard? Kind of a leopard skin. It's one of my favorite skins. What is this quest?
Greetings. Good luck, friend.
Retrieve the sign of Earth from Garrick. But where's Camp Buff? I think that's in Arathi Highlands. I think it's the one in Arathi Highlands. I think it is. It's got to be Arathi Highlands. Alright, let's see what this cat can do. I'm just letting my pet work. See how well he does. He's taking some damage. I'm not doing too bad. And these guys fireballs do a lot of damage. So not too bad. Ah, shit. Hold on a second. And what are we going to call this pet? Amberclaw. Named after my wife. And also his color. He's kind of amber in color. Okay, so macro. We need our bandaged pet. See how fast he's leveling. Ugh. Not fast at all. So he got 2% of his level with that kill. That's it? That can't be right. You guys see that? He was 5% towards the next level, and now he only got 2%. That's horrible. And there he only got 1%. Oh my god. Yeah, so leveling this pet's gonna take a long time. So the good news is though, he's doing some damage, and he will, once we get his loyalty up and we can start training, because he doesn't even know Claw right now. So once we train him with Claw and and get him trained up with some additional armor and stamina, he'll be a lot more effective. How fast he is though with dash. He's a quick kitty. Gonna want to set up my macro. Got a macro for. I have a macro for stealth. It would be under. I gotta find this macro. I'm sure I could probably just create it, but I'm being lazy. What is it? It's just cat here. It's just cast brow. Oh, let me find it. It's on this account though. I don't think it is. I think it's on my other account. Night Slayer. Here it is. So I just created a macro that actually casts Prowl. So let's just do that. What's Pet Prowls look like? It looks like that. I don't know. Can we find the icon? Spells. Be nice to find the right icon. I always wish they would have had a search. Here it is right here. I always wish they would have had like an actual search. So what we're just gonna put Pet Prowl. Findings. Okay. C, Shift D. That one, Shift C. Shift mouse button 4. What was I using for Prowl? I think I was using Shift 4. Didn't work. Hold on a second. Why didn't that work? Why did that work? Fuck. Probably the wrong rank. Yeah, it had a rank on it. Oh, let's see if it works without a rank. It does. Okay, cool. All of that just to I wanted to be able to keybind Prowl because there's going to be times where we're going to want to be able to use it. So see, by keybinding Prowl, we can turn Prowl on when we want, but it's not going to turn it on automatically. So it's not going to use Prowl unless I tell the pet to use Prowl. And that's what you want. You don't want it to prowl all the time. You know, my pet's Prowl's available, but he's not going to use Prowl until I tell him to use it. So we're using the wrong weapons. Haven't gotten one damn flame sack. Kinda sucks. Man, they keep resisting my traps. We get our next immolation trap rank 3 at level 54, so that kind of sucks. At level 50 we get Shrag Dragon and Growl. So really we don't get too many great things. I mean immolation trap at 54 is our next biggest upgrade. 56 getting Raptor is a big upgrade. Actually, sorry, it's explosive trap, and the ML is actually at 56. So 56 is a big level for us. 58's pretty good, and then that's so we don't really get a whole lot of other big upgrades. Yeah, that is correct. This guy's leveling so slowly, so we can't worry about his level. He's just going to level. Well, what's going to be a bigger thing is just getting his loyalty up. Thankfully, his loyalty will go up a lot faster than his level. So, but see, he's already like hungry again, so gotta feed him. We'll see how he likes. I don't think this is probably only gonna give him 17. Yeah, only 17. So. So we're gonna give him some good stuff. The tender wolf steak here in a second. $35 loyalty, or happiness, I guess. And he was really unhappy. There, now he's max happiness. Definitely when you're trying to raise their loyalty, you want them to be very happy all the time. Oh, we got our first flame sack. Oh no, that's our second one actually. Not doing too bad. I mean, Amberclaw's putting out 27% damage. That's actually pretty good. Especially considering she doesn't even know a claw. She doesn't even know claw yet, and she's putting out 27% of my damage. That's actually pretty good. Once she gets up to my level with claw trained at max, I think this pedal out will definitely out DPS the wolf I had. There. 29%. She's got 1 training point. Nice. So we got 1 loyalty level rank up.
Settled into place as the darkness starts to rage.
How fast this pet is. That dash is so quick. Oh, kind of screwed up my trap there. That fucking dash is so cool. I forget how much I love dash. You can see the pets critting. Just like, look at that. I saw at least 4 pet crits. I saw at least 4 pet crits there. So that's why this pet's damage is as high as it is, because he's attacking so quick with claw. Hmm. All right, I think I'm gonna go to bed, guys. I need some sleep. But we're gonna continue ranking up the kitty. I've been very impressed by her damage. 27% damage. Remember, my other pet was only doing around 32% damage, only about 5% more. Like, this cat's doing 27% of my overall damage. My other pet was doing, I think, around 34 probably. So that's amazing. This pet's only level 41. Of course, these mobs were killing her, lower level, so that this pet can actually do some damage. But still, I
Farewell.
think that's pretty impressive. That bodes well for this pet when she's maxed out, when she's like level 48 like I am, and has all her talents and has claw. She doesn't even know claw right now. It's gonna be interesting to see how much damage she does. Whoops. Big yawn.
What can I do for you?
Ability. Select. Strength. Sure, why not? Protection, sure, why not?
Go with honor, friend.
Well, these little scrolls help. They help. Alright guys, I'm gonna get to some sleep. I will catch you later. We'll pick this up hopefully tomorrow. And I'm hoping that Saturday that I can stay home. Maybe. And my wife can go visit, because she visits her mom every Saturday. I saw her mom today, because her mom came over today, so I'm hoping that maybe I can say, well, I saw your mom today. Or I guess it was yesterday. Maybe she could go over there without me on Saturday. Because I know one day this weekend we're going to have to go shopping. Anyways, hope you guys have a good night, and I will catch you in the next stream, man. Peace out.